Welcome back everyone to our HK5 project nameplate page in Summer Nights by Hannah Carlson. It's Jem here in the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. I am feeling slightly more rejuvenated and refreshed since our last video, and I have to apologise that I was not 100% last time. Just really busy, like way too busy. Anyway, as promised, I have continued on and finished off our flowers on this side, as I said I would do. And also I made a start on some of the greenery, and that is what we're going to focus on today. We're going to get that finished, and then the next video will be the last video where we tackle the beads and the key and just do a few finishing touches. We're getting pretty close to the deadline now, and I don't want Becky starting to sweat and get nervous that I won't have this submitted for the deadline. So we are going to soldier on. So the first thing I want to talk about is the colours that I've used for these leaves. And what I've done was, if you remember back to a few videos ago, in our little birdies, I had used the light green from the Prismacolor set. So I had used that as a basis to pick the rest of the colours for the leaves. So the colours I've come up with are really simple today. We're only using 3 pencils and they're all Prismacolors. The first one is obviously light green, which is PC 920, and that is now neatly stuffed into my pencil extender because I was getting on the short side. This is a Derwent pencil extender. They come in packs of 2. You get a silver one and a black one in each pack, and the silver one has a slightly bigger diameter, so it's better for chunkier pencils like Polychromos and that kind of thing. But the black one works great for the Prismacolor. It is quite a tight fit, but that's good because it stops the pencil rotating or shifting about if you tighten this up. The next colour is True Green, or False Green as it's more commonly known on here, PC 910. And finally we have the Peacock Green, which is PC 907. And that is all I have used for these leaves, and you'll see that it brings out quite a nice effect, but we're keeping it nice and simple. So you can see some of the ones that I have done here. Again, because I haven't really gotten plumped for a light source, I have taken it more of a sort of pattern effect when it comes to doing the leaves, but just because we have quite a lot of line work in there, that seems to work quite well. So I want to start down the bottom here, and I'm going to start with this flower here because the leaves are a little bit bigger and it's just going to be easier for you guys to see what is going on. So the first thing I'm going to do, as I always do, very predictable, take my lightest colour, which is my light green, and I'm just going to put a quick shimmy of that down over all of the leaves surrounding this flower. And it's just to get that nice base colour started. So it's Sunday morning, and I don't normally film on a Sunday. I kind of make it a rule not to film on a Sunday because it really is the only day off that I get. But we're getting quite tight for time now, and for the sake of an hour, give or take, for doing some filming, I thought I would just go for it. So here we are. I have a cup of tea. It's quite early in the morning, and thankfully the sun is not out. It's quite overcast, so I was able to film straight away in my usual position without getting any sort of funky dapple effects going on. Okay, so now what we do is take the True Green, and these centre stalks I'm pressing really hard, and I'm just going to get that nice vein to pop out there like this. And then I can start working my way round like this. Yum. There we go. So that's standing out quite nicely, as you can see. And then using the same pencil, I'm just going to put a light layer from the base of these to about halfway up on either side of the sort of stem part in the middle. And again, I just want to do that all the way round, like this. So yes, things are very quiet here at the cave today. There's not a lot happening. We are in the calm before the storm when it comes to the farm. This is the kind of quiet time before the big H, which is harvest. And we don't like harvest. We'll maybe talk about that a little bit more in a while. Alright, so now I'm moving on to my Peacock Green, and I want a really sharp point on this because we've got some quite tight spaces to get into. So let's have a quick sharpen. There we go. Now the first thing I'm going to do is work down these veins, and on one side of each of the veins I am going to just run my darkest green down right into the bottom there. And that's just to make it a little bit more 3D, a little bit more interesting. So I'm filling in right the way across at the base next to the petal, but then I'm running it alongside one of the black lines. It doesn't matter which side, it's completely up to you. So same again here. And then we're going to do it like this. There we go, that looks lovely. Now, just while I'm here, I've got this tiny little sort of joining vine in here, so I'm going back to my light green and I'm just going to put another layer of that down on top of what we've done. And at either end, I'm just going to pop in a little bit of my darkest green, the peacock, and then join it up the same way as I've done here. It is a tiny little fiddly space, but it's just going to help that pop out a little bit more. Okay, so sticking with this darkest colour now, we're going to work on these sort of segments. Now all I'm doing is I'm running my pencil along the edge closest to the petals on each of the segments like this. And I would say probably medium pressure. Just back and forth a couple of times. And I'm only going about halfway up now. It's up to you if you want to go all the way up, but I just feel like it looks better if you don't go all the way up. So that is literally all that I'm doing. Now I'm taking my mid-tone, so back to the true green, and I'm just sort of going over the top of that, and all I'm doing is blending and kind of smudging it in a bit. And I'm just bringing that slightly above the segment where I last used the darkest green. And that just blends everything in really nicely. And then back to my light green and another layer on top to the very edge. I've just realised I haven't finished the one next to this here. I was literally doing this just before I started filming, so we'll maybe finish this one off as well and you can see the same tactic again. So using the dark green in there, peacock. It's easier to show you on these leaves that have slightly bigger segments. It's just, you know, you don't have to get your magnifying glass out. Right, there we go. Back to the true green. Over the top, nice circular motions, medium pressure. And just bring it slightly above. It doesn't have to be in line with the segments. You can take the true green up over the top of that because you're going to blend it in with the light green, just like this. There we go. Now with these little, I would call them the flowers that have blown off, all I've got there is a layer of light green, and I'm just doing exactly the same as I do with these sort of stem parts, you know, the bit that we've just done, and I'm just running my pencil down one side and then a sort of little semicircular shape, you know, like that crescent moon shape, down the other side, like that. That is all I'm doing with that, so it's really simple. Okay, let's just stick with this peacock green now. It is peacock green, yeah, peacock green. I don't know why I can't get that to stick in my head. And we can just work away. Now I've been tending to do this in clumps, so, you know, working my way around the whole flower and doing all the dark green bits first. And then switching pencils after that. I don't always do that, but it's just, this time it seems to be working for me. So, yeah, we're going to do that. There we go, so that's about halfway up, I think. Again, I'm not being overly scientific about it. It's just where it looks right to stop with the darkest green. Bit of artistic license. I'll pop this down. And we can start going over with our true green now. Again, just going slightly above where I have stopped with the peacock. Just making that nice and rich. Super duper, and then we can nip back again to our lightest colour and just blend that in at the top areas like this. Alright, there we go, we're really into a rhythm real quick with this today, which is nice. I think as well, because I'm relaxed, because it's Sunday, there's not as much going on. I feel as if I've got a little bit more, you know, a little bit more oomph about me perhaps. So we've got these little ones here as well. I'll just pop that in there. There we go, super duper. So let's move on to our next one. Yeah, so harvest time is a time for me to basically pretend that I'm single. Now there's a luxury most married women don't have. It is by far, for me, it is by far the most difficult time of year. I hate it more than I hate lambing. And it's basically because a bit like silage, which I talked about a number of weeks ago. I'm just shifting to my true green now, give it a sharpen as well. The stipulations of getting harvest done are heavily reliant on the weather, because you need dry weather, and you need quite a bit of dry weather. And our weather, especially just now, is very, very unsettled. We have a lot of wet days, and that is what you don't want for harvest. And that, I think that's going to pose a problem. So when it is dry enough to do what you need to do, you have to go until you can't go anymore. And when you're harvesting grain, one of the main factors for the quality of the grain is the moisture content, and that is how you measure whether or not you're going to keep going when you're harvesting. Because once the moisture goes above a certain level, the grain then becomes very difficult to store, and it can go mouldy. So you're very much governed by that, and it is not uncommon for Mr. Jem to sit in a combine harvester for 18 hours at a time, and that will sometimes be at 3 o'clock in the morning. So when that happens and the boys work late, which is very, very frequent, I cannot sleep at night because I am worried that Mr. Jem is going to fall asleep at the wheel. Now, some of the fancier combines now, some of the newer ones, ours is not one of those, have built-in sat-nav, and basically all you have to do is sit behind the wheel. You don't actually have to do anything, and if for some reason you don't turn at the end of the field where you're supposed to, there are controls that will correct that for you, and it's to stop things like that happening. That is not the case. So basically I am paranoid for the amount of time, but also as well, obviously I don't see Mr. Jem. I just try and keep him fed and watered and, you know, help him out, but I do worry about the amount of hours that he does, which then in turn, when he is doing other tasks during the day and he has to drive on a main road, I am not comfortable with him driving, because if you've ever driven when you're tired, it is so easy to make a mistake or miss something and cause an accident. So I try and get him to stay off the public roads until he is rested, and I try and do anything that needs done, you know, out with the farm, I will go and do for him. So aside from that, it's very long and very tiring, but yeah, it's just not my favourite time of year. Okay, so I'm back in with my true green here, and I am just going to pop this in here. I've got this little leaf kind of on its own. So yeah, it's just one of those times of year, I'm afraid, and it seems to go on forever. On the plus side, right, back to my peacock green now, just to line this little branch part under here. On the plus side, when the grain comes in, if the moisture content is quite high, we have a grain dryer in the yard, and it's basically just like a big hair dryer, and you pop the grain in at one end and it goes through the dryer, and you can test the moisture content, and then if it's not at the right moisture level, you can put it back through, and then they dump it and store it. The grain dryer makes a constant sort of humming, rattling noise as all the little grains are falling through, and it is really, really relaxing, and I find it a really comforting sound. So when the grain dryer is on, I actually open all the windows in the house just so I can hear it in the house, and it's one of those things that, like, it almost sounds like rain on a tin roof, but it's accompanied by this humming sound in the background, and it's, yeah, I just really like it. But apparently Mama Jem could tell me that when I was a baby, I used to fall asleep with things like the washing machine on, and there is actually a picture of me in my buggy, and there is a hairdryer wrapped around the handle. Now obviously it's not pointing at me because I'm a tiny baby, but it's facing away, and my mum could tell me that hairdryer was actually on, and it was the noise that made me fall asleep, and that's how she used to get me to sleep as a baby, because I was a very awkward baby. So I don't know whether maybe it's a throwback to that, but it's just, I just really like it, and I don't know why. So there you go. All right then, so we've got that little section finished down here. We can head on up here. Just make sure my pencils are out the way. So yeah, that's harvest, and yeah, I'm just not looking forward to it at all. After harvest is finished though, we have a sort of lull in proceedings again before we start calving. Calving starts at the end of November. So we've got a little break there, but excuse me, that was why we took our honeymoon last year, and we took it at the end of September into October, and that's because that's the quiet spell. So, but there will be no holidays for us this year. There's just too much going on, and there's too many other things to be dealing with. So no holidays for Team Gem this year. Maybe next year. Okie dokie, there's quite a lot of leaves going on here. I'm just being careful and making sure that I'm not colouring in where the gaps are. You know, I'm not making them green by accident. I think maybe we could get away with that sliver in there, but I'm going to leave it because we're going to do something else with that in the next video. Just get all this light green down. I've actually missed a petal there as well. Goodness me, shoddy workmanship. Once again, consummate professional always. You guys love it. There we are, I can get this all in here. And we've got this one here as well. So yeah, I've seen that some of you have been busy and you've been commenting on the coffee fund video and making your suggestions, and there's some really interesting suggestions there now, and I'm quite excited. So if you haven't done that already, again, I've done it the last couple of videos, but I'll leave a link to that video in the end card for you so that you can go and check it out and maybe give a thumbs up to any of the suggestions that you like, or you can suggest something yourself. I'm going to leave it open for another week or so just to let everybody get a chance to get caught up. I know a lot of you are on holiday and things just now, so we'll leave it for another little while and see if we get any more suggestions in before we make a shortlist. Right, I'm just going to go back and finish off this little petal here because it's bugging me. So that was the canary yellow, my tiny canary yellow, there we go. And that was followed by, I think it was sunburst yellow, and I brought that about 2/3 of the way up. And then finally the mineral orange. Was it mineral orange? Yes, so I've just got my little post-it note off to the side here where I've written down all the colours I've used, but my guess was right. I'll just pop that in as well. There we go, that's better. Back to normal. And we'll do these stalk parts first. There we go. So I'm at this stage in the month now. When I get to, you know, nearer to the end of the month, I start planning the following month's videos. So that is what I'm working away on just now, and it's quite exciting because I've got quite a few ideas that I would really like to execute. But it's just I don't have enough time to, you know, put them all out there. If I was to do every single idea that I wanted to do on a, you know, on a sort of monthly basis, you'd have about 8 videos a week. So I've got to pick out which ones I'm most excited about. I'm going to leave this little part till last and I'll explain what I'm doing with that. So just sticking with this mid green, I'm going to get my sort of bottom layer down here. Again, just sort of mid pressure, little circular motions. So yeah, I've got lots of interesting ideas, and I'm still, all the suggestions that you guys have made over the last year or so, I'm still picking through them, and you know, I'm still, they're still active, if you know what I mean. I'm still using them as and when I feel it is fit. So if you've made suggestions in the past, then you know, you may still get something that you have suggested. It's nice having a lot of suggestions like that as well, because it's also a good gauge for me of what you guys would like to see. So one of the things that I am going to do, there's been a lot of colouring videos this month, and I'm quite aware of that, and I do try to keep a good balance between the colouring stuff and the more sort of arty side of it. So I am still continuing with my nameplate challenge, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a rest for a couple of weeks because I have been firing these videos out at a great rate of knots. Back to peacock green now, and we're just going to do some sort of standalone colouring. So we'll do that for a few weeks, and when I'm getting near to the sort of end of that little venture, I will put out a vote on the community tab for you to pick out which nameplate page you would like me to tackle next. There aren't a huge amount left. I think I've got 5 or 6 left. So I will let you guys pick what you want to see a little bit down the road, but I am having to really sort of scale back. I did say this in the last video, the last colouring video, that I've got far too much going on and I've got too many things going on at once, and what's happening is I'm just not getting through things and I'm not really getting any time to art just for myself, and that is something that is very, very important to me. So, you know, I've got to kind of like draw a line. I mean, I've said it before though, I'm putting out a minimum of 2 videos a week, and quite often it's more than that. Some of your full-time YouTubers, that's what you're getting from them on a regular basis. So, you know, it's not like I feel as if I'm not doing enough. I really do think I am, but it's driven by enthusiasm. It's not because I think you guys are sitting going, oh, she's not putting out any more content. It's nothing to do with that. It's more just me, myself, and I get all these ideas and I get excited about them, and, you know, the coffee fund and the stash. And it's like, yeah, just slow down a bit, Jem. So that's kind of like how I'm feeling about that and where I am with that. And that's okay. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a nice problem to have, and I'm not complaining about it at all. But I think you really have to keep your expectations realistic, and also your ability to achieve these things have to be realistic as well. And for it to be at the detriment of my own pleasure of art and colouring, then that's quite a big thing. So I have to sort of like rein it in a little bit. It's not to say that there won't still be lots of fun stuff going on, because you guys know there'll always be fun stuff going on, but just maybe not quite as many bonus videos. And truthfully, it's the editing. It's the filming of the videos is great, and obviously it's my favourite part because it's the fun part, but the sitting there and editing and rendering videos and uploading videos, and that's the stuff that takes the time, and it is not the exciting or glamorous part of being a YouTuber. Not that there's much glamorous about being a YouTuber, but that's the, you know, that's the boring part. That's like having to do your chores. So, and it just eats up. It's like just a massive time vacuum. And then before I know where I am, by the time I've done my own work and, you know, walked and fed my dogs, my days disappeared, and I'm sitting at 10 o'clock at night still editing videos, and that's just, it's just not great. Okay, I'm going to stick this green right in there, in that entire bit, because it's kind of tucked in behind. So it's these things, you know, that you just kind of, you've got to take a step back a little bit. The other thing as well, and I take it as a compliment, I really do, and it's really nice, but the way you guys like make suggestions and talk to me, you treat me like a much bigger YouTuber than I actually am, and that's lovely. You know, that's like the ultimate compliment. But I have lots of restrictions on me based on the fact that I am not a larger YouTuber and I don't do this full time, and you know, there are certain things that I have to work around, and it's nothing anyone said to me in particular, but just a few of you have made comments and suggestions and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that, but I just can't. So that's something that I've noticed it over the last few weeks, and I'm like, yeah, it's really nice that you guys, you know, treat me that way, and you think of me like that. And I mean, a few people have said as well, I just sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet here, I don't mean this to sound like this at all, but a few people have commented and said that, you know, I thought that you would be a bigger YouTuber than you are, which is awesome, and I'm like, oh, thanks very much, that's really nice of you to say that. These things just take time though, and even if I wasn't a really big YouTuber ever, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't mind. But it's mostly financial restrictions, and, well, not mostly, it is financial restrictions and time restrictions. Those are the two things that you need to do certain things, and I just don't have a lot of either right now. But the time is coming. I don't think it's going to be too far off whereby the channel financially will be supporting itself in terms of the sort of basic running costs. Now, I did go into quite a bit of detail about that when I announced the stash and the coffee fund. We're nearly there with that, which is awesome. And I'm kind of like, once I get to that stage, I will sort of reevaluate things and see where I'm going next. But, you know, stuff like this is it's a lot of money. And it would be lovely if the likes of some of the subscription companies would send me out free boxes, but that's one of the things I am far too small and insignificant to be even considered for something like that, so I have to pay for these things. Okay, so I've got this little, excuse me, this little bud down here. And all I did with that was just kind of work the colours in a gradient. So I've got the palest green down there. I know it's kind of difficult to see in this light. And then going with my mid-tone. And it is, again, we're in quite a tight space, so you don't need to sort of worry about it being perfect. But starting at the base there, I'm just putting down a little bit of this green. And then bringing it up the sides on either side, like this. But leaving the middle one. And then taking the darkest colour, I'm just putting a teeny weeny bit in at the base there. And then just a line round either side of these sort of outer areas. That's it. That's it. That's simple. So we move up here now to these ones. And we'll go back to our light green. And get these down. There's a little stalk in there as well. Oh, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. So yeah, this video and the final video for this nameplate will all be going out in the same week because the deadline for this... I am trying to figure out what is going on here. Is that a petal? Oh no, that's part... Oh no, I see it now. That's... I thought this part here was a petal, but it's the empty space outside of the leaf. If I colour this leaf in, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that makes sense now. Wow, that could have been a disaster there, jeez. Oh dear. Yeah, so these videos will be going out in the same week because the deadline for the HK5 project, I do believe is, I think it's the 27th or the 28th of July. So I need to have this finished for that time. And we'll be getting a motor on. But also at some point this week I am expecting, now bearing in mind I'm filming this on Sunday, so this coming week I'm expecting the scroller box to land as well, which obviously is another video. Now I have a kind of rule about the scroller box unboxings because I do always do them the day that the box arrives because I like to have it out there as soon as I've got it for you guys. Right, I'm just switching to my mid-tone now, so I'm going to work around these leaves with my mid-tone pencil. And my rule is that if it arrives on a day, or if I think it's going to arrive on a day where I am releasing a video, which obviously is only going to be a Thursday because we don't get post on a Sunday, then I will use that as a scheduled video, and anything else that has been, scheduled originally will be used elsewhere. So that's kind of the rule I have, but I haven't even had a dispatch email from Scrollerbox to say that the boxes have left yet, so I have no idea what day that's going to turn up, but that will be also at some point this week. So once again, it is going to be a busy week. Fun, fun, fun. Right, so I've done all my stalks in this little section now, and I'm just going to start filling in this sort of base area again like I did previously. So yeah, my subscription renewal for Scrollerbox is coming up very shortly, and I was kind of hoping the channel would be able to pay for that, and that is not going to happen. So the channel will be paying for half of the Scrollerbox subscription, and I do get a year's subscription all in one go because it works out cheaper when you work it out month on month. It's about £2 cheaper every month. But as I say, I was hoping that the cave would have enough funds to pay for that outright, but it doesn't. So it's going to be half and half. But that's better than me paying for all of it myself, right? Yeah? Yeah, of course it is. Maybe next year. Alright, so I'm going to go to my darkest colour again. I have got a really itchy nose this morning. I can't stop rubbing it. Right, I'm just going to take a quick tea stop here. Excuse me. I am just on traditional tea today. I'm not on fancy tea. builder's tea, that's what you need on a Sunday morning. We'll get in some of these little vein areas. I am really optimistic for the channel, and I'm really sort of buoyed up by the response and the interactions I'm having with all of you. It's really nice, and you are just like the most generous people that I have ever met, and I'm not going to say much more than that just now, because I am actually going to address some of that in an upcoming video. I've just realised that you can't see what I've just done there, sorry. I'm like minus 10 professional points today already. Only like half an hour into the video. Oh, yeah, the generosity from people has just been absolutely overwhelming, and it's so nice. And I'm just really glad that you guys are getting value out of, you know, out of the channel, out of the videos, and you're not shy in telling me that. And that's really what it's all about for me. But what you've got to remember as well is you guys do as much for me. I mean, people thank me all the time for, you know, making videos or sharing things or putting out content. And that works both ways. And I've said this before, but having this channel and doing all this stuff, like all this colouring and all this art, it genuinely gives me a better quality of life. Both for, you know, having a good time and having fun, but also for like my mental health as well. And it has made me do things, it's forced me to do things that I would normally avoid like the plague. And that's purely a product of having dealt with mental health issues for many years. And I'm going to give you an example so that you kind of get what I'm talking about. I am not good in busy places. I have quite a severe sort of social anxiety, and it does depend. Sometimes I'm better than others, but generally speaking, I'm not good in busy places, and I don't like being around a lot of people. Having a PO box, generally you have to be in a populated area. Obviously there's not very many PO box companies kicking about out in the countryside. And my nearest one is in the city that is closest to me, which is Dundee. So by having the PO box, I have been forced into having to, you know, to go and visit it, which means I've got to go into the city. And normally I will avoid things like that at all costs. I've said before, I hate shopping and I just don't like being in busy places generally. So this is becoming like a new habit for me, and I'm not going to lie, every time I go it does stress me out, but I'm dealing with it more and more every time I go, so it's making it a bit easier for me. And one of the things that really stresses me out is parking. See, trying to park in a city, and I don't mean my driving ability to park. I'm totally fine. I'm a good driver and I enjoy driving. It's the, am I going to be able to find a space? More to the point, am I going to be able to find a space that I can fit the truck in? Is someone going to park too close to me? Am I going to box someone in? Those are the kind of thoughts that go through my head, and that makes a trip to the city very stressful for me. And the days that I do go, I am absolutely like wiped out, like seriously wiped out. That if I'm in the morning, that's me for the rest of the day. I'm done, because I've got that much nervous energy that goes into it, that in the afternoon I'm pooped and I'm not worth what we would say, not worth a button. You know, I'm no good at being productive after that. So that's something that has greatly affected me in having the channel, but it's something, and it's the attitude I take towards all things when it comes to dealing with stress and anxiety. I am not going to let it stop me leading my life, and I am going to put my big girl pants on and I'm going to learn to deal with it. And that's what I've done with a lot of things when it comes to mental health. So you guys have really helped me to be brave and get over that. And I'm not there yet, but I'm like a million times better than I was even a couple of months ago. And I'm like, yeah, I can totally go into the city and, you know, go and park the car and get to the PO box place and not feel like the entire world is looking at me, or, you know, all these kind of things. So, you know, that is like, you can't put a value on that. You guys are helping me get over stuff like that, and it's absolutely amazing. All right, we're up to the top now. Can have another little sharpen. So that's just an example of one of the ways that having the channel actually helps me and makes my life better, apart from the fact that you're all super duper nice to me. And it's a real honour and a real pleasure to be in the position that I'm in with the channel and be able to do what I'm doing to the extent that I am doing it. And I know there's, you know, there's loads of room for growth and, you know, trying different things and just generally sort of being awesome. But to be here like this, the way things are just now, it's way, way beyond any expectation I ever had. And there is something really nice about that. And it gives me a sense of achievement too. So it's, you know, it's a two-way street. It's definitely a two-way street. So thanks, guys. There we go. Get all this green down. Now once again, I just want to make sure I've not missed anything. These little bits here all belong to the beads, I think. I don't think any of that stems. No, I think we're good. All right, let's have a little pop with our true green. Whee! That's fun. There we go. Oh dear. Oh no, we're all right. I thought I'd made a mistake there, but we're good, we're good. It's going to be okay. Yeah, I think back to when I first started the channel and I really, like, genuinely was kind of thinking to myself, even if I had a couple of hundred people, I was thinking like 200 or 300 people that would come and watch, you know, fairly regularly and, you know, watch most of my videos on a regular basis. I thought that would be amazing and I could build up this nice sort of little cozy community. And to see when I hit 500 subscribers, it just blew me away. Like, it really blew me away. It was like 500 people. That's just, it's just awesome. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And now here we are. We're well on our way to like 2,500. Which is just, I'm just like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I do not know what to do with that. So I'm just enjoying it, and I'm glad that you're all here. And hello to any of our new subscribers, because we seem to be accumulating new people at quite a great rate, which is nice. So welcome to you guys too. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of hard to take in. The scary thing about being a YouTuber is, though, that you're kind of putting yourself out there for anyone and everyone to see and like have a pop at. And I know that generally the art and colouring community isn't really like that. We are one of the sort of lucky communities where everyone is generally very supportive and very nice. But it's quite a daunting step, especially for someone like me that is not particularly what's the word I'm looking for? Sociable. Not particularly, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I really don't like people. Like, guys, honestly. I'm much happier in my own company, but I am very much an ambivert. I have extrovert tendencies because I am a very chatty person, but I enjoy my own company and also possess quite a lot of introvert tendencies. I am happy to socialise, but I'm very selective of whom I socialise with, and also, you know, the time scales, and I don't like being in big groups of people. It's like, I hate parties. I really do. It takes a lot for me to get over that and, you know, remember to be nice to people. Right, okay, I've got my blah, 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 spit it out, Jem. True green. So yeah, it's quite funny. Because that my mum kind of doesn't understand that. She's like, you're so talkative and, you know, you really engage, you're a real conversationalist, so how can you not want to go to social occasions, and how can you say that you're not, you know, not an extrovert? And I'm like, because I find it very tiring. It takes a lot out of me, and I'm usually quite nervy for most of it. and I have this ongoing paranoia that people are looking at me or judging me, and it's actually it's not the main reason obviously, but I did not want a big wedding because I knew that is a situation where it's not my mind, everybody would actually be looking at me, and I just could not cope with like 100 people all staring at me at the one time. That just wouldn't do at all. But yeah, I have a lot of coping mechanisms for stuff like that now, and I don't let things like that stop me doing things I want to do, and I would never let it stop me. And that's kind of how, you know, I cope with everything that goes on. And yeah, it's taken me a long time to figure that out, but we got there. Okie dokie, I am going to have a little zoom out now. There we go. How good is this? We are nearly there. That has just set that off beautifully. And you can see there that our colour palette, if I go back to my little colour wheel, just very briefly, if you remember a little while ago, was it last video or the video, no, must have been the video before, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we talked about having a colour scheme for the foreground of this picture, and we talked about a tetrad colour scheme, and we had the blue of our birds, and we knew we were going to use green for the leaves. So that's the two corners of our square here, and then if we follow them down we had pinks and oranges, and lo and behold, here we have it, and yes, it works. It looks quite aesthetically pleasing, and yeah, that's the joys of being able to use a colour wheel. Right guys, that is it for today. I know that was quite short and intense, but yeah, I feel a bit more energised now, and it's still very early on Sunday, so I have the rest of the day to edit this video. No, I'm just kidding. These ones don't take a lot of editing. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you're enjoying how this picture is coming along. As I say, the next nameplate page video will be the last one for this. We'll get finished off and I can send this off to Becky for the HK5 project, and we shall see you probably for a scroller box video, maybe another video, but we will see you incredibly soon for the next one. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye for now.